Good evening, welcome to Sensei Scoot's Dojo. On Tuesday the 9th of June, yes, can you believe it's the 9th of June already? And we are training on Geri and Keri this evening, so kicks. So we're going to do some Kihon, basic kicks to start with. 4 basic kicks that we use within our syllabus. And then we're going to develop those into combinations. And then ultimately, you're all going to learn the what's called the dreaded 9. And I think most of the black belt instructors will tell you that it's the dreaded 9, and you'll see why it's called the dreaded 9 after we do that particular lesson. So this lesson today will go on for at least an hour and may continue into Thursday, because this is kicks, and kicks are complicated and kicks are difficult to do. And I've got a bad back still, so it's not great, but we can't avoid them, and you mustn't. So I think kicking is something that I used to find particularly easy. Was probably my best attribute in terms of my technique. I could kick Mawashi Geri way above my own head height when I was younger. But today, after breaking my leg severely, 3 knee surgeries, making lots of excuses, kicks are not my favourite thing. In fact, they're probably my most problematic thing, because they put stress on my back. So I think it's not something to be avoided. So, but what's most important is when we work on kicks is that you work to your level and your ability, and how you are. So I'm very mindful of the fact that I've got a bad back at the moment. So very mindful in terms of not being silly and over kicking. Better to do technique correct than do it incorrect and hurt yourselves, which is exactly how I did my back. Doing Shotokan, did Hien-Yonde in the garden, kept repeating the particular move because I wasn't quite getting it right, and ended up pulling my back. So be mindful of that when we do this evening. So we're going to do a stretchy warm-up, and then we'll stretch our legs as well as much as anything else. And then we're going to work on Mae Geri this evening, so front snap kick, Yoko Geri Kekomi, so side thrust kick, Mawashi Geri, and then Yushiro Geri back kick. Okay, so they're the 3. So roundhouse kick, Mawashi Geri, back kick, Yushiro Geri, Kekomi Geri, side thrust kick, and Mae Geri front snap kick. Okay, so they're the 4 that we're going to work on, and we're going to build those into little combinations so they're appropriate for grade. So just the kicks upon their own will be for certain grades, and then the combinations will be other grades, and then the dreaded 9, maybe I need to find a better name for it, that's what we'll be working towards over this week. So that's the plan. So hope that's good. Hope you're excited about that as much as I am. As you can see, I've started to go for facial hair. I've got a little bit of a Mr. Miyagi going on here, but I need to keep the rest of it tidy. My wife cut the back of my hair. I can't see it, so it doesn't matter. But my mullet is growing nicely, so it's going quite well. If any of my instructors wish to buy any of my hair when I have it finally shaved, then you're very welcome to it. We can do a transplant. I'm sure it's okay. Okay, so I hope you're well. I hope you're well, feeling good about yourselves at the moment. And raring to go for tonight's lesson. So what we'll do is do a quick warm-up, we'll say hello to people, and then we'll get the lesson started. Okay, so just key up skate nice and smart, please. Heels together, toes by hands with sides, just to warm up. And ready, os. Okay, so just get the arms forwards, get yourselves warmed up. Okay, and backwards. And relaxing, stretching out. Okay, so get your left arm going up and down and change. Then rotate all the way through. Okay, so up and down. Okay, so 1 forwards and 1 backwards. Okay, just bring your left arm, so take your left arm, Hidari one, across and pull. You should feel this pulling all the way down here. And change with the right arm. Take the left arm over and behind you. And the right arm down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, to the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. And up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so remember, front, side, and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. 8 and relax those shoulders. Okay, think Surachi from stance. So pushing, stretching those legs really low, get the legs stretched. You want to be stretching the gastrocnemius, which is your calf, and your hamstring. Gastrocnemius is a great name for the calf muscle, so hamstrings are a really poor one. I think, I'm sure there's another name for it. Okay, back to the front, push up and push your knee down to the floor, stretching the back. And change. Push up, push down, stretch the back. Okay, feet together, Haisukadachi. Arms up to the top. Okay, just climbing with your hands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. So if you're like me, I can just touch the ceiling. But that's because I'm tall. Okay, and right, os. Okay, take your right knee. Okay, so migi hiza. Take it up, keep it tight to the leg, bring it up, stretch out, hold. Keep your form, keep your balance, keep control. Bring it back, bring it down the leg. So try to keep your form, try to keep control of your ashi, your leg. Okay, so left leg up, keep your control, your knee up, higher, kick out, hold, bring it back, and bring it down. Okay, good. So hips round, koshi. Feet on the other way. I'm ready. Okay, well, I'm only ever doing a brief warm-up. I hope that's okay. I'm kind of hoping that that you'll be doing a little bit of a warm-up before we start stretching and moving in the dojo. But I always do. So I pre-warm up before we start this lesson. It's important you do so. I do a brief warm-up so I don't want to interrupt the lesson too much. And you know me, that's the way I run my dojos. I don't like to spend 25 minutes warming up and then 35 minutes in the lesson. Better to be training, I think. So if you warm up yourselves, that's really good. Just be careful. So Kyosuke, make sure your gi and obi are straight. And ready, os. Mine's fresh out of the washing machine and smells absolutely lovely. I'm not going to lie. It can't beat its fresh smelling gi. Okay, let's say good evening to a few people. Good evening Tim, good evening Andy, good evening Wayne, good evening Ken, good evening other Andy, good evening Sharon, good evening Huxtable Clan, good evening Wayne, good evening Dylan and Bron, good evening Isaac, good evening Roebuck family, good evening Thomas-san, good evening Harry-san, and good evening Magdalena and the Hartley Dojo. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening Isaac. Isaac, yeah, I've said Isaac. Good evening, Zach, and good evening, Christian Sensei. Good evening, George from Greece, us. And good evening, Ewan. Good evening, Raoul from Belgium, us. And Ashley, Jonathan, us. Okay, so good to see you all. Thank you very much for joining me. So be careful, be mindful of your space. Okay, I'm very conscious of that. Our kicks are going forward, so not going sideways. So that's quite a good thing. Okay, so you will need approximately 1 metre in front and 1 metre back to step back, if that's okay. So first of all, we start with Mae Geri. Okay, so Kyosuke, Amrei, os. Okay, Ayori. So first things first, let's think about the foot, okay, and the knee position. So I think when we first taught Mae Geri, our simplest understanding is that we think it's like a football or a rugby kick, and it is very much not like that. Okay, so rugby football, we're sweeping the leg. Okay, we are sweeping the leg to connect with the said ball. Okay, karate completely different. Completely different. We're bringing the leg, the heel in particular, straight up towards our bottom. Okay, keeping the leg to the body so we keep control of it. As soon as we put the knee out here, we start to lose our form and our balance. Okay, so the idea is that you bring your leg close up to the body, okay, and you drop your hip. You drop your hip. So your hip sinks, okay, as you kick. This enables you to use your hip for your kick, okay, which enables you to get more power and kime at the end of the technique. Similar to we use our hip for our punches, okay, Gakuzuki. This is similar, okay. So make sure that whichever side you're doing, bring the leg in tight to the body, okay, and bring the knee up into the body. Drop the hips, squeeze down, okay, and then the foot position when it comes out, and back down. Okay, so we're kicking with koshi, the ball of the foot. Okay, so that's really important that you understand that. Don't kick your toes, bad idea because they're just going to break. So make sure koshi, the ball of the foot. The 3 points of the foot here is where we want to make connection with the floor. Okay, with our supporting leg. So our supporting leg is crucial because if we don't have good stability, then our kick is pointless. Kicks are very difficult to control because it's a big limb. We're using a huge part of the body, which is the leg. Okay, and so therefore we have to think of the science. Think of the biomechanics, the way the body's made. Okay, good evening, Michaela and Betsy. So it's really important that we understand those biomechanics. What I need really to do is show you the skeleton, and you'll understand a bit more. But think of it as a chain. Okay, and think if the chain is broken somewhere, then that link is not good anymore, so not strong, so the stability has gone as well. So when we're kicking Mae Geri, we're bringing this knee up, straight up. Okay, and the heel here comes straight up, not here, not away from the body. Okay, as we kick, the knee comes up, and we have more control over the leg. Okay. Now when you're kicking, imagine that you have a ping pong ball, a little table tennis ball on the top of your toe, and you're flicking it off, or a droplet of water in your big toe, and you're just flicking it off. Okay. So that's the kind of concept that we need to be using. We're kicking Makoshi, the ball of the foot. So if we use Haisuka Dachi, use Sonoba. Sonoba is standing, stationary, not moving. To kick first of all. Okay, so bringing the knee up and down, and knee up and down. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, ko, ju. Okay, and what I can't do two camera angles, unfortunately, not that clever. But it's coming up, not out. So I'm not doing this. If I do this, you can see my body tilting. I'm pivoting the wrong way. I'm doing this as I kick. So if that's my body, as my leg goes out, my body goes back. Like this. So this is incorrect. What happens is this stays here, leg goes out, leg goes out. By keeping it into the body, keeping control of your hips, your hara, okay? This is where it needs to be tight as you kick Mae Geri. Okay, so this time we'll kick straight. Okay, so Sonoba Geri, heels and toes together as much as you can. Hands by your sides. Now if you can keep your hands to your sides, then this will help improve your stability. Okay, and remember to let gravity take place. Don't force these knees down, just relax them. Just let them drop, let your shoulders relax, okay, because you have more control over yourself then. If your body's relaxed, then connect it when you need to and it will work. Practice makes better, remember. Okay, so right leg up, okay, and put it back down, and then right leg up and kick, and put it back down. So we have a practice go, and then we have a kick. So ich, in. And try to maintain control of the foot, the leg, the body. So try not to wobble too much. If you do wobble, please don't worry. It's really not a problem. No one can see you this evening. Okay, so not kicking straight away, practice first. Knee up and kick. So ich, knee, ich, knee. No movement here, just the lower part of the body is doing all the work. Let the body weight, let gravity take over. If you don't know enough about gravity, then you need to find yourself a scientist and they will teach you. Or we'll let Christian sensei on you and then you're in trouble. Knee up and kick. Knee up and kick. Knee up and kick and hold. This shows you have that core stability here. Yeah, that shime position and then down. Kick, drop, no good. Okay, so practice, kick, balance, control, squeeze, push down. So you are taking control of your own body. That sounds crazy because in the age of about 6 months you start to do that when you start crawling and then eventually walking. You're starting to learn to control. But that's the good thing about karate, and in particular Shotokan, I think, is that it enables us to learn how to control our bodies. Okay, and I find that super interesting. I've done lots of research and studies on this, and I understand my body far better than I've ever done, and therefore I'm able to sometimes cure myself of my problems, which I've proven to do with my back. You know, normally you don't pay for an osteopath to do it, but I've been watching, listening, learning all of those years, seeing those specialists, and now know how to self-help. It's not easy, it takes years, and it's not always the perfect thing, and sometimes you do need help, but it does support that mindset, I think, that mindset. Okay, we're going to go for 10 kicks and over, so just Mae Geri, so each, hey knee, remember that, drop down, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, ko, hanju, ya. Hey, and down, ay, and right. I rarely kick Jodan Mae Geri now. Obviously, kata I do. Kumite, not anymore. I always do chudan. Chudan for me is more effective. My brain says so. Stronger, for that better. Less stretching, less chance of a balance issue, balance being a problem. Okay, and so for me, chudan kicks are better, but some katas, remember, Mae Geri Jodan is important, hien yondan for instance. So you do need to ideally be able to keep at both levels. But if we go into stance, so if we rei, ayui, okay, if we step forward just front stance, each, okay, you can see now that my height has changed. I'm much lower. So this is sensei's chin at 6'1", okay, I'm 6'1" tall. And when I drop down into my stance, it comes down much lower. Okay, 3-4 inches difference. So my Jodan is not really as high as maybe I thought it was. So kicking Chudan, okay, and then stretching to Jodan is not a huge amount of difference again. We don't need to kick up here. I think when you're a 20-year-old man or boy, when I was, and you kick above your head, it's because it's cool and it looks great and you saw it on the movies, so therefore it has to be good. But when your sensei tells you that that's a waste of time and you look ridiculous, you start to question, well, why do it? So don't do it. So be more mindful of where you're kicking. So target area of here, solar plexus, stomach area, and target area of here. Okay? You wouldn't really kick Jodan Mae Geri from a standing position like this. You could, but this is really as high as you would need to go. But remember, when we're in stance, we are that much lower. Okay? Shotokan practitioners, especially beginners, we're in long, low stances to strengthen our legs. So we don't need to kick too high. Try telling that to a junior who's just found their legs. It's a really difficult thing because they love showing off, which is fine to a point. But there's going to be that lack of understanding of the kick. Okay, so rei, os. Hey, so this time let's do this stationary kick in Mae Geri Chudan. Ich, ya. Okay, so make sure you're in good position. Okay, make sure your stance is getting down. Try not to bob up and down too much, but it's going to take a bit of practice. This. Okay, let the weight drop onto the front leg, and just kick Mae Geri Chudan. So put your arms here because they'll help your balance. Okay, and kick Mae Geri. Ich, and back, and knee, and back, and san, and back. Hey, shi, and back. Remember to keep control. Go, and back, and change legs. Against the left leg kicking. Ich, and back. E, keep that control. San, shi, go, and change legs. So this time Jodan, so be mindful again of how high you're kicking. Don't overdo it. Yeah, make sure there's a difference though between Chudan and Jodan. If you can't kick Chudan and Jodan, then you maybe kick Yidan, lower, and Chudan. Also, again, to your ability, important. So not too high, my chin is here, so they mustn't kick over that point. Ich, ni, san, shi, heigo. Same control each time. Change legs. And kick in left leg, hidari ashi, ich, ni, san, shi, go. Control, height and back. And yellow. And right. Os. Anyway. Okay, so that's Mae Geri. Kicking, stepping forwards is no different really, to be perfectly honest. If I just demonstrate this, no real reason to do this evening, but if I just demonstrate. So from this position here, the kick to the stomach and then step down. Chin, step down. Maintaining your form as much as possible and control of that limb. Why? Well, if we kick Mae Geri and we miss and we have no balance, we're done for. So you kick Mae Geri, nothing else left, you fall forwards to your opponent. Okay? If you kick Mae Geri with control, you can then do other things. Punch, punch, kick, punch, punch. You can keep going because you have that form and control of your body. I always say to the children, don't kick, drop, flop, plop or splat. Okay? So kids like that, because it's funny, but plop, flopping, dropping and splatting is not a very good way of doing karate. I have done it once in the dojo. Ended up with a nice bloody nose doing a Mawashi Geri, which we're going to do in a short while. So be mindful, don't overkick, but also don't not kick. Make sure you're having a go at it each time. Okay, be mindful of the backs of your legs here. Okay, all of that behind there is linked into the knee, and I think my personal experience and my first knowledge of my knees not going very well was probably overextending on kicks and forcing stances into positions, with my body into positions where I shouldn't have been. And I felt the pain at the back of my knee more than I did at the front of my knee to start with. But it was actually the front of the knee that was wearing away. So just be mindful of that. You know, kicking fresh air is not clever, it's not smart, but it's the way we have to practice. We can't kick an opponent every time. But actually, it'd be better if we could, because we have some resistance then to be able to pull back. The problem with kicking fresh air is hyperextension of the joints is so much easier. And so you have to be mindful of that. And again, that's why it's really super important that you learn to control this big part of your body, known as your legs. Okay, so Ray, us. So from our syllabus perspective, all beginners, okay, and all early Q grades, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, etc., you will be kicking Mae Geri Sonoba on the spot. Okay, you will also be kicking Mae Geri Sonoba on the spot but stepping back. And you will also be kicking Mae Geri stepping forwards. And indeed, you may be kicking Mae Geri Chudan, Mae Geri Jodan as a Rengeri consecutive kicking. Okay, so that's our syllabus at the lower level. Okay, then we move on to Mae Geri as a more senior technique. Okay, and that's what we're going to develop to now. So we've done our basic kicks. So from this position here, just demonstrate the once. Take a step forward. Ich. Okay, so this time we're kicking Mae Geri. Control. Back to the hip. Kizanazuki. Gyakuzuki. And Yamai. Okay. Just show you once more. So from this position here, Mae Geri, Kizami, Gyakuzuki. And this will be taught to brown belt level through to Shodan, the first level black belt. Okay. We do Mae Geri in other parts of our syllabus. Okay, so for instance, we do Agyuki as a beginner, and if you remember when we were doing these block combinations and everything last week, the brown belts will learn this Mae Geri kick within this. So again, there's lots of opportunities within our syllabus to start practicing Mae Geri at an early age, or a lower level grade, and then progressing, constantly repeating that technique. You'll do thousands of Mae Geris. By the time you got to brown belt, you'll have done it 20,000 times. Okay, and that's good, because the more you get it, the more you practice it, the better you'll become. You'll start to kick your toes maybe initially. Toes forward is quite a common thing. Toes too far back, so you're kicking with the heel, okay, kicking with the sole of the foot. All of these things are part of the course. When you're a junior, particularly teenage boys, they tend to kick with flappy feet, so their feet just do this, okay? And there's no control over the ankle, there's no control over the 29 bones in the foot. So straight away we're going to have issues there. The foot twists as well, kicking like this. So all of that is part of training and part of learning how to control your body. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do the brown belt to black belt connection point. Okay, so this is the Mae Geri Kazami Gyakuzuki. It's a nice combination, and I don't think it's too difficult for beginners to do. In fact, I think it's a lot of fun. So make sure again you have about a metre, metre and a half in front of you, and rei, os, ayoi. Okay, and step forward, gidambarai, ich, iya. So remember to step forward, gidambarai correctly, and then put your hands out to the side to show that we are ready for kicking. Okay, high grades, you would do this from judachi. Okay, so from this position here, we're keeping it basic tonight. So we're going to kick Mae Geri. As the foot comes back, the hip, hand comes to the hip, Kazamazuki. We did this last week, and then Gyakuzuki. Remember, we're at Hanmi at this point, and Gyakuzu at this point. So this is more higher grade information. Kazami, Gyakuzuki. Okay, now we can't kick this kick going backwards. I mean, I could pick up the front leg and 1, 2, but we tend not to do that in our syllabus because it doesn't work as effective. Okay, so from this position here, we would turn back leg across, Mawote, and again we would kick Mae Geri, Kizami, Gyakuzuki. Back leg across, turn Gidambarai, hands to side, ready to go again. Mae Geri, Kizami, Gyakuzuki. Back leg across, Gidambarai, change the hands, Mae Geri, Kazami, Gyakuzuki. Back leg across, Gidambarai. So when we turn Mawote, the Zen Kutsudachi, your back leg comes across, so the width of your stance here goes across here, and then you just twist the hips, and you'll be in front stance facing the other way. I make that sound and show that seems easy. That took me absolutely months to learn. I'm not even kidding there. I could put money on it taking me more than 9 months to be able to get a Mawote correct when I started karate. My old senseis will tell you how bad I was. But practice makes better. Always. Never makes perfect. In Shotokan, makes better every time. Okay, so hopefully you like that combination. So once more, rei, os, ayoi, and step forward down front stance, ready to kick. Ich, iya. Okay, so Mae Geri Kazami Gyakuzuki, ich, hate Mawote turn, ni, hate Mawote turn, ich, Mawote turn, ich, and then Mawote turn. Okay, change legs. Normally we do this 5 forward and 5 back. Okay, obviously my kitchen's not that big, so we're just doing a singular kick at the moment, which is why we're doing a lot of Mawote, which is okay, it's okay. Okay, so again, from Gidambarai position here, Mae Geri, Kizami, Gyakuzuki, back leg across, Gidambarai position, Mae Geri, Kizami, Gyakuzuki, back leg across, same position, hands to side, ich. Make sure this punch comes from the hip. Gyakuzuki, Hanmi, Gyakuzuki. Turn back leg across, kick in, ich. One more, ish. Watch this hand, my left hand. Stays here, yoi, comes back. And yamei. Here we go. Hey Enoi, relax. Okay, so that's pretty much half an hour done on just Mae Geri. But the reason I think we need to put the time in for this kick is that done correctly it's fantastic, done incorrectly it's useless, pointless, a waste of time, and you can end up getting very, very hurt with this kick. So if you need to be very mindful of this. If you want to know how I broke my leg in half, I think you can work out the answer yourselves. Okay, I wouldn't say my Mae Geri was weak at the time, but I would say that the conviction maybe with the kick wasn't there, and so therefore I got injured and not my opponent. So I think it's important to always be mindful of our bodies and what we're doing, and never be complacent that we're good at kicking, okay, or brilliant at this and great at that. That's not really very, very helpful. Okay, so kick number 2 then, we're going to do Yoko Geri Kekomi. Now often as a junior you'll learn this in side stance and you'll just step across in Kibarachi. But we're going to do it from Zenkutsudachi today. Okay, so Sensei Andy is, this is his favourite kick, I would say. I think it's his best kick as well. So he's very good at it. But he's not here in my kitchen, thanks Andy. So I'm going to do Yoko Geri Kekomi. I'd say this is probably one of my weaker kicks. Basically bouncing my knees, but it's a thrust kick. Okay, so Mae Geri was a snap kick. Okay, so think of a snap kick as being a yakuzuki. Okay, and this is a thrust kick. So think of an oizuki, a lunge punch. Okay, so Kekomi. So you wait and step forward down Gidanbarai. So the best way to do this kick is like a Mae Geri. So bring the knee up. Very, very similar. Okay, so we're kicking Mae Geri here, Kekomi Geri, the same position here. Okay, exactly the same. Squeezing this part of the body down. Okay, and then the key difference is that we're then going to pivot, rotate on the ball of our supporting leg, and we'll push our hip towards our opponent. Okay, and then thrust the leg out, kicking with the heel of the foot, I'll demonstrate that in a second. But the key thing is to get this foot into the correct position. Exactly the same as a Mae Geri. Try not to have your knee going off at a tangent, an angle. It's wrong angle. Yeah, wrong angle. Kicks going down the centre, so your embusun, your performance line, that's where your knee should be. Okay, so here, then push. Okay, so that's what we're hoping to do, is bring the knee up and then thrust through with the heel. And as I say, I think it's I find it a challenging kick. I'm not going to lie. I think I always have. I've been a Moshi Geri, Mae Geri, Kiangi Geri, Yushira Geri, Euro Moshi Geri, all of those Geris, not Kekomi Geri. Why? I'm not so sure. So knee up, step back, knee up, kick back. And again, see the draw back with the foot, just to again have control. Ultimately, when kicking with this kick and hitting our opponent, we want to push them away. We want to launch them into next week. Okay, this is about getting someone away from you, so you're able to then maybe make distance and run away. It's a thrust kick, so think of it like a steam train running into you and then just keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you down the tracks. That's a Kekomi Geri. Okay, so right, yoi and step forward, Gidanbarai. Okay, so bring that knee to the centre and kick. And back down. Horse. And back. This position here, this position here. Okay, so knee up, each. Knee up and kick. And back. Knee up and kick. And each. Now, too high. Too high, and then hip drop, okay, loss of balance, immediate. So, not the way to do it. I'd like to say it was deliberate, but it wasn't. So knee up, keep the body weight correct, and balance. So kicking through each, better. Not an easy kick. For me, change legs. So again, knee up, same as Mae Geri, knee up here, thrust, back and down. knee up here, knee up, thrust, back and down. You've probably worked out that this is not my best side, but it will never get my best side unless I practice. Oh, and when you get a good one, it makes you feel good about yourself. Hang on. Okay, so a challenging kick. Maybe not for you, it's for me. Okay, so Mae Geri may have been for you, but not for me. So we're all going to have these little, I call them a nemesis, and actually I call them a problem. I call it the problem kick, the problem technique, the problem part of the kata. And problems are as big as you make them. They can become all-consuming and take over your whole life and mind, or they can become small and insignificant and solvable if you treat them in a different way. So what I used to do was try to work out why was my Kekomi not good on the right leg. It's clearly okay on the left leg, but why is the balance not there? And ultimately I'm left-handed and definitely left-legged, left-footed, okay, when I used to play football. And I have a definitely inefficiency with my right hip compared to my left hip. Okay, and that's where my imbalance is in, I think, my karate, is possibly this right side, only really with legs, because I punch right-handed as strongly as I do my left hand, but definitely from a kick perspective. And in fact, I've gone deeper into that and looked into it's more to do with the pivot, more to do with the rotation of the foot and the hip combined that makes that kick not as strong on one side as it is on the other. What you need to do is go into your own technique, and when you're a higher grade, start to dissect it and look at it and look through the layers and see where it's maybe not quite right or can be improved. A good way of doing that is by videoing yourself, which is horrific, says me. I don't watch back any of these videos much, if I'm perfectly honest, especially not these live sessions. But I think it's good practice to look at yourself. Okay, so I often will train in front of mirrors, rent a hall that has a mirror set up, and then you can see yourself. It's quite what's the word? Enlightening. Also a bit freaky and very unpleasant at times, because maybe your technique isn't as good as you thought it was, but you see yourself in true light. Okay, and that's really important, because your friends aren't going to tell you that you're rubbish. They're going to tell you, "Oh, that was good, good effort, well done, us, yes, well done." And that's not helpful. What the people need to say to you is, did you know that you drop your hip really low when you go and you lean right back? No, I didn't actually. Did you know you lean? No. So does that help? I hope. So let's go back to this kick. Yoi. And we'll just do 3 on each leg. So step forward, get ambarai, ich. Okay, so Yoko Geri Kekomi, ich. And back. And again, knee. And back, and sun, and back. Okay, change legs. And now on the opposite side, so the other side. And ich, and back, and knee, and back, and sun, and back. And Yami. So that's how a beginner would start to develop their kick. So we tend to teach it in side stance, step across and thrust to start with absolute beginners, and then as I say, sort of green down above, we start to put it into front stance. It's a much harder kick to do in front stance, but that's what you've got to do. So you put it into front stance. When we then get onto purple and white belt and above, brown belts, going for Shodan, we then connect in another technique. So we'll do that next. So let me show you. So step forward, get ambarai, ich. Okay, so this time we're going to do Yoko Geri Kekomi, Yuraken Gakuzuki. Okay, so from this position, put your hands against the side. So kicking, ich, hand back fist, and a Gyakuzuki. Okay. So again, kick first, control, bring it back as the hand comes back, Uraken Gyakuzuki. As you bring in the knee back to show your control, that's when you launch in with your arm. Okay, if you work out the competitive sort of fighting aspect of that, it makes more sense. Okay, so once more, kick, bring it up, back fist Gyakuzuki. So I'm trying to slow it down so you can see more naturally. Gyakuzuki. Okay. And change legs. Okay, so again, Kekomi, Uraken, Gyakuzuki. So from this position here, Kekomi, bring the arm up, Uraken, Gyakuzuki. Tuck this elbow in. And back. Kekomi, Uraken, Gyakuzuki. And one more. Kekomi, Uraken, Gyakuzuki. And back. I'm warming up because they're improving. And again, I think it's proof of the pudding. Practice makes better, 100%. Yeah, so slowing techniques down makes them harder to do, makes them more, you think too much maybe not so good for you. So sometimes it's better to just throw the kick out there. But if you're an instructor demonstrating to a class, you can't do that. You have to break it down, have to layer it and make sure people understand. So you can see then there's quite a variation. We learn this kick in side stance as a beginner. We then go to front stance and kick just the kick. Then we do the kick and then we do a back fist reverse punch. This combination fits in with the other kicking combination we've just done, the Mae Geri Kazami Gyakuzuki, as part of the dreaded 9. So what is the dreaded 9? Well, the dreaded 9 is basically 9 Kihon basic techniques that you learn as a brown belt. Okay, and when you are going for your first Q black belt sort of level, so this is the last grade before black belt and black belt, you have to demonstrate all 9 techniques just like that. Okay, and what you do is you go back on the blocks and forward on the kicks. Back on the block, forward on the kick, back on the block, forward on the kick, back on the block, forward on the kick, back on the block, finish. 9 in total, okay? And that's what we're going to work towards this week. So we've still got Mawashi Geri to do this evening, okay? And then on Thursday, maybe this evening, I think we've still got 15 minutes left, we'll see if we can get to Yushura Geri, okay, which is the 4th of the kicks. So the kicks that we're doing are Mae Geri Kekomi, which we've just done, Mawashi Geri, roundhouse kick, and Yushura Geri back kick, okay? And so that probably will wait till Thursday, but we've got a good 15 minutes to work on Mawashi Geri and review the 2 other previous kicks we've just done. Okay, just move your hips round. Okay, just be very mindful of your own body. Been training for 45 minutes now and we've only been kicking, so we need to be careful. Although I'm warming up, okay, I can feel my back is ever so slightly pulling on one side. I'm getting sweat in my eyes. So being conscious of that when we kick, try to relax more, and that will help your body absorb any issues. As soon as we start tensing and locking things out, that's when things start to hurt. When pain starts to be a problem, then it is causing a problem, isn't it? Okay, so our next technique then is Mawashi Geri. So Mae Geri was a kiaki kick, so in other words it was a snap kick. The Kekomi was the opposite, and that is a thrust kick. Okay, and Mawashi Geri is definitely more of a snap kick. Okay, so this technique, we're going to do it tonight with Koshi. We're going to do it with the ball of the foot again. Okay, so same as Mae Geri at the beginning of the lesson, and we're going to kick Mawashi Geri. And I think probably for the majority of people it's better to stay at Chudan level, okay, stomach level this evening, and if you become more confident with this kick, then you start going more Jodan level, okay? But we'll work on the basis of a Chudan kick at the moment. Okay, so the difference being, Mae Geri, the knee was straight through, so here, remember that, okay? And Kekomi, the knee was straight through. Okay, so both those kicks are the same. Mawashi Geri is nothing like that. Okay, so Mawashi Geri, the knee comes from the side. Okay, so from this position. Okay, so I'm still going to use the arms here because we've got lower grades that are training and watching us. So this helps stability for them, definitely. Higher grades you can go from Judachi if you wish to. Okay, so the Mawashi Geri, the knee doesn't come through the centre here, okay, it goes straight, it comes around. So I'm going to try and sort my life out on balance. Okay, so it comes from the side here. Now, if your knee is this high, you won't be able to kick any higher than that, so just be mindful of how high you get your kick is dependent upon how high your knee is. Same with Mae Geri, in fact with same knee kick. If your knee is here, you won't kick any higher than that, because your knee doesn't flex the other way. If it does, then you really are special. So bring your knee up, okay, and then for this position we pivot. Okay, and we're bringing the foot the same as the Kekomi. So the Kekomi, the knee goes here and then pivot. That's the Kekomi. Mawashi Geri though, Mawashi Geri comes from the side straight away. So this kick, rather than going through thrust, this kick comes around. And that's why it's called a roundhouse kick. So watch this leg, watch the knee as it comes around and kick. Now that was too high, that was Jodan, so that was my chin height comfortably. You don't need to go that high. Sometimes it just naturally happens, but just bring the knee up to the side here, bring the foot round and down. So this kick is very much more around, for me it's the hips are even more crucial. They're crucial in the Mae Geri, they're still crucial in the Kekomi. But for this one, you've really got to be able to pop your hip, I think, as you kick. As you pivot, the hip goes. Okay, this gets a good whack, it's not a word, a good whip with the kick. Okay, so you want that Kiyagi type feeling. Okay, this is a kick that ultimately will come round into this part of the body, this part of the body, or this part of the body. Okay, and be super effective. This is a very, very powerful kick. Okay, and step forward front stance, each. Okay, so just bringing the leg up into this position here, bring the foot round and kick. Don't go too high too soon, better to start lower and build layers and improve your technique over time. You definitely want to be trying to get the foot horizontal. I don't like doing this because it hurts my hip, but if you do this kick wrong, your foot goes more vertical. Okay, that really does pull on my hip in a really nasty way, okay, which aggravates problems. So we want to get the kick correct, so it's better to start lower. Better to start lower, keep better form, use your arms for stability, come around, kick and down. And again, the same control as before, kick, put foot down, not kick, drop. Okay, I hope that is sticking within your heads, that we should never just let a leg drop. Okay, as soon as we do that, it's game over. It's game over with that particular technique. So you've got to make sure you can bring the foot back. Okay, this will also help you when you're doing kumite with a partner and you kick Mawashi Geri and they don't block. You can pull your foot back. If you just let a Mawashi Geri go, your partner won't get up again, not for quite a while. Yes. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so step forward, down, front stance, each. Hands to the side and rotate round to Mawashi Geri. Just chew down, just keep it nice and low to start with. Each and back. And then step back, front stance. And again, knee and back. And then one more. Just again, keep the same height. Each and back. And change legs. Okay, so kicking on the other leg. This may be a better leg for you, or this may not be a better leg for you. This is by far my worst leg, and this is by far my worst kick ever. If you thought my Kekomi was bad with the right leg, wait for you watching this one. So Chudan, okay, I don't kick Jodan with this kick. I've not been able to do that forever. So I don't practice it, to be perfectly honest, because it's the imbalance I said to you about my hip and the kicks, it just doesn't work for me. And it's all to do with this pivot. It's not pivoting the same, but it's something I practice when I'm feeling well and I'm able to. But better to keep a Chudan kick. So come round, each, and back. And again, knee, and back. Oh. I don't want to watch this one back. Some, and back. And yamei. But I'm not going to shy away from it. You have to do both sides. It's as simple as that. Okay, so us. So Mawashi Geri, we don't generally teach at white, blue, red belt, orange belt, yellow belt. Start to teach it around the green and white stripe for juniors, green belt for adults. And we tend to teach it that way, koshi, ball of the foot to start with. There are numerous ways to do a Mawashi Geri. Okay, there is just not one way, there is many ways, 5 in total pretty much. So you've got a normal Mawashi Geri, koshi, ball of the foot. You can do the top of the foot called haisuku. You can do an ura Mawashi Geri, Mawashi Geri where it comes around. You can do a reverse ura Mawashi Geri where it comes around. Person's head is quite a good one. And then there's another one where you kind of whip back, which I can't recall the name of it at the moment in the top of my head. So there's multiple ways of doing this particular kick, but the ball of the foot is the most common way in the way that we do it within our syllabus. So we're going to now do the brown belt to black belt parts of this kick. So this combination is quite nice, not too difficult. So bow, yoi, step forward, get under eye, ich, okay, hands to the side. So first of all, we start off with the kick, Mawashi Geri. So ich, okay, and then we land Gyakuzuki, Yarakunuchi. So Gyakuzuki, Yarakunuchi. I slow that down. Gyakuzuki, Yarakunuchi. Okay, so then Mawashi Geri comes in, Gyakuzuki, then Yarakunuchi. Again, all down that embusun, so where the kick lands, the punch lands, the punch lands. Important to have that form and focus. Okay, so again, slow speed, Mawashi Geri kick first, ich, punch in as you land, Yarakunuchi to finish. Mawashi Geri, ich, yeah, Gyakuzuki, Yarakunuchi. Mawashi Geri, ich, Gyakuzuki, Yarakunuchi. Okay, so opposite side. Mawashi Geri, Gyakuzuki, Yarakunuchi. Ich, Mawashi Geri, Gyakuzuki land, Yarakunuchi. Ich, Mawashi Geri, Gyakuzuki, Yarakunuchi. And memory. And anyway, relax. Okay, so not easy, not difficult, not super hard, I don't think. I think a lot of people in many dojos, and I certainly was taught this way, do the Mawashi Geri, then you rack and Gyakuzuki. Okay, that works just as well. No real difference really, to be honest. The way we do it, the Gyakuzuki Raken, I think works better. There's a little bit more kumite aspect to it. Kicking Mawashi Geri, landing the Raken, okay, and then finishing with the Gyakuzuki is good, is great. But I really like the way we do it, and that is the Gyakuzuki, the Gyakuzuki first. So you put the Gyakuzuki and then you Raken. The Raken's a really good technique to finish on, and unusual compared to Gyakuzuki, which we use a lot in Shotokan. Okay, so we'll finish the lesson with a recap of those 3 kicks that we've done this evening. Remember, we have a 4th kick to learn, excuse me as I wipe the sweat out of my eyes, we have a 4th kick on Thursday to learn, which is Yushiro Geri, back kick, okay, and we will then put those together, those combinations, and then we're going to do the dreaded 9 together. And it doesn't matter if you're a white belt 10th Q, okay, white belt or a 10th Q blue belt or a 9th Q red belt, it doesn't matter. If you're a 6th Q, or if you're a 5th Dan, or a 6th Dan, or a 9th Dan, we're going to do the dreaded 9, okay, and this is the combination of all the techniques that we learn at Kion, okay, all together, moving back on the blocks and forward on the kicking combinations. It's really enjoyable, okay? The way it's written in our syllabus isn't correct, okay? Lost in translation is all I'm going to say. So I'm going to show you the correct way. I think that's the best way to do it, is I'm just going to show you the correct way. And what will make sense with it is the way you learn it in the dojo, is the way you do it for your black belts. There's no surprises, okay? For those people who have graded previously on their black belts, there were a few surprises, but we've all been through it, so it's all good fun. Us. Okay, so kick number 1. Step forward, Gidambarai. Ich. Okay, so kicking Mae Geri, stepping forwards. Ich. And Wate turn. And kicking Mae Geri back. Ich. And Mae Geri turn. Change legs. Mae Geri forwards. Ich. And turn, wate. And Mae Geri back. Ich. And back. Okay, so stay with the right leg forward. Kick in Mae Geri Kizami Gekuzuki. Mae Geri Kizami Gekuzuki. Wate. And kick in Mae Geri Kizami Gekuzuki. Wate. Change legs. Kick in Mae Geri Kizami Gekuzuki. Wate. Kick in Mae Geri Kizami Gekuzuki. Wate. Anyame. Amei, os. Ayoi. And step forward, get under right, mate. Ich. Okay, so next kick then Kekomi. Side thrust kick. Ich. And turn, wate. And knee. And back, wate. Change legs. And Kekomi. Ich. And don't land like I just did, that was shocking. Land and then Mawate. And Kekomi Geri. And turn. It's because I did a good kick. Slightly excitable. Okay, so Kekomi Yurakin Gekuzuki. Ich. Kick Yurakin Gekuzuki. Mawate. Ich. And change. Change legs. You will notice if you get a good kick, it makes a lovely crack with your gi. Makes a really, like a sound like that, which is wonderful. Makes you feel super proud of yourself. I do sometimes think it's down to the quality of the gi, and I'm wearing a very good quality gi. If you want a new gi, then Hirota is the way forward, trust me. There is not a finer karate gi ever. It's brilliant, utterly brilliant. Okay, so Kekomi, Yurakin Gekuzuki, opposite side. Ich. Yurakin Gekuzuki. Hey, wate. Ich. Iya. And wate. And yame. And right. Was. Ayoi. Okay, so our last combination then was Mawashi Geri. Okay, so bow. And remember, this kick is difficult. I have a good side, I have a very bad side. We practice both sides the same though. We can't move away from it, we can't shy away from it. We have to try and work out why it's not good on one side or the other. I've only been practicing my bad Mawashi Geri for 30 years and still can't get it right. But I'm not giving up, okay? I'm not giving up. You've got to continue all of the time and try to always better. Step forward, get under eye. Ich. So just on its own, just Mawashi Geri. Ich. And turn. And Mawashi Geri. Ich. And turn. Change legs. And Mawashi Geri. Ich. Oh, I'm getting lazy, sensei. And turn. And ich. And turn. You can tell my good side is my good side and my bad side is my bad side. Never mind. Okay, so this time Mawashi Geri Gekuzuki Yurakin. So ich. Mawashi Geri Gekuzuki Yurakin Chi. Turn. Ich. Mawashi Geri Gekuzuki Ya. Yurakin. I think you can probably tell I enjoy doing that one quite a lot. Okay, so again, Mawashi Geri Gekuzuki Yurakin. Ich. Ni. Ya. And yame. And ready. Us. Inui. Relax. Us. Okay, just straighten the yogi. And ready. Us. So there you go. Mae Geri, Kekomi Geri, Mawashi Geri complete. What was your good kick? What was your okay kick? And what was the one that was not so okay? Us. For me, Mae Geri went really well. Kekomi went really well. Mawashi Geri went really well. And then I went to the other side. Mae Geri went okay. Kekomi went Mawashi Geri But again, that's me being brutally honest with myself and brutally honest with you. So which bits do I need to work on? Not the okay bits, not the good bits, the bits that need the work, where we've got to keep going. Okay, and you know, you just have to kind of just chip away at it. And as I say, it can be a lifetime. A lifetime's worth of training gets you to a point where you finally get it. And sometimes not get it. Okay, you have to be realistic that sometimes your physiology, okay, will not enable you to do a certain technique in the way that you've seen it done or want it done. We shouldn't just say that juniors are really kind of very lucky in terms of the way that they're able to throw their bodies around and abuse them, and people of a certain age are less so, because I've seen Japanese instructors kick Mae Geri well above my head in their 80s. So, you know, it depends upon the person. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed those 3 kicks in particular, and just the way that we progress within our organisation and our association. And just keep practicing them. So Thursday's lesson will continue with Ushirigeri, back kick, which I think is a very interesting and an even more challenging kick, I think, than those 3. But we're going to break it down so that people, I think, can understand. The first time I was taught this kick in Japan, back in 2004, I really had a eureka moment. The sensei that taught me, Sensei Suzuki, showed me a way of doing it that I hadn't done before, and that connected with me, and ever since my kick has been better and improved. So sometimes you just need the right person at the right time to show you something, and you're in the right place to connect with what they're saying. Quite often we might blame our coaches and instructors and our families for not giving us the right information, but actually quite often it's us not able to receive that information. So it's important not to blame anyone. Always look at yourself first than looking at others. Okay, so we'll finish with the Dojo-kun. We'll say goodbye to a few people because I need to make sure that I can say goodbye to a few people, and then I will see you on Thursday. So, Kyotsuke. Dojo-kun. Hitotsu jinkan kokansei ni soromoto koto. Hitotsu makato no michi o momoru koto. Hitotsu doryoko no seishin yashinau koto. Hitotsu regyo o monjuro koto. Hitotsu kekki no yo imashimuru koto. And right, us. So look forward to seeing you hopefully on Thursday. Please remember to look at our YouTube channel, Asahi Shotokan Karate, the same as the Facebook page. I've been putting lots of videos up there. I think I've put 7 or 8 now on the beginner Shotokan Karate, which shows you the very basics techniques to start with. They're only short videos, but hopefully you'll find them helpful. Not just videos on techniques, but videos on other parts like the dojo-kun, and what does the word us mean. So hopefully things that you'll find interesting. My plan is to shoot more of those when the weather is improving again, because I shot those videos in blisteringly gorgeous sunshine at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the last few 6 o'clocks in the morning have not been as nice. So that's my plan moving forwards. We're going to continue with this part of the way that we're training through Facebook Live. I'm still contemplating doing a Zoom lesson, but at the moment people don't seem that interested in that. I will do a YouTube live lesson though at some point. I've just heard from one of our dojos today officially that there is no chance that we can go back there at the moment. Okay, and that's one of our schools. Our main schools has said it's just not possible, and I know it's not possible because obviously I work in a school. We're just preparing our school for more students to come back starting next week, and the trouble is that we've had to segregate certain areas, make one-way systems, and then once the students leave the school, they have to then deep clean the whole place. Okay, every time that happens, and so therefore for people like myself who hire the halls in the evenings, that's causing additional work for people that aren't there. So schools can't let us have the halls back at the moment. So at this moment in time there are no plans to open karate dojos for the foreseeable. Okay, we're not insured to do so at the moment, so we must continue this way, and that's okay because we are insured to do this. But what we hopefully are going to get to a point is whereby we're able to maybe train outside somewhere if we're lucky. Okay, but that's dependent upon finding the appropriate safe place. Social distancing will obviously all be observed, etc. But I think that's still some time away, so continue as we will on Facebook Live, and any other suggestions I'm welcome to hear them. But going back to the dojos at the moment, it's just, I don't think it's going to happen. I can't see it happening before September. I can't promise it. It may be later than that. As I say, you will know as soon as I know. I've done some COVID training to make sure that I'm a martial arts instructor that's safe to practice, knowing all the COVID rules. I've done that with my school as well. I'm PPE trained up to the hilt, so we're all ready and geared to go, but it will be some time, I still fear, before we see each other again in the dojo. So please continue to stay with us online. I know it's not the same. I miss you as much as you miss me, hopefully. I bet that's not true, but I really do miss seeing everybody in the dojos and connecting with everybody, because you know that karate is such a big part of my life. But anyway, look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Quickly say goodbye to a few people. Good night, Ewan. Good night, Harry. Good night, Wayne. Us. See you, Kayla. Us, Andy. Thank you, mate. Well, your kicks are getting better. That's good then. Mine are getting worse. Good evening, Pete. How you doing, mate? Good evening, Joe. How are you? And I think that's pretty much said hello to everybody else. Thanks so much for joining me again, everybody. Much appreciated. Oisumasai arigatou gozaimasu. Us. Jamatane. Us.